Welcome back, listener. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
This time we're really going into a world that I think it kind of blurs the lines between science fiction and reality.
Yeah.
Our source material is a single classified document
Ooh.
labeled Chronocore Report.txt.
Interesting.
It's marked confidential.
Okay.
And this report, it hints at some pretty crazy stuff. Government secrets, groundbreaking technology, maybe even, I don't know, some things that we don't even, we can't even really comprehend yet.
I mean, that's what makes these deep dives so interesting. You never know what you're going to find.
Right. And this one's particularly juicy.
Well, and what I think is really fascinating about this is that it focuses on like an actual incident, not just like theoretical concepts.
Right.
We're getting a glimpse into a super secret organization.
Okay.
Known as the Weaponized Animal Division, or WUD.
The WUD.
The WUD, and their creation, these things called siege cats.
Siege cats. Okay. Now, that sounds like something out of a comic book or a video game or something. What exactly are these siege cats?
So imagine feline entities, but with all these enhanced capabilities,
Okay.
engineered for military applications. Now, the report doesn't really go into too much detail about what they look like,
Okay.
but there is mention of something called Project Overlord, which doesn't sound very cuddly.
Project Overlord. Yeah, no, that does not sound like we're talking about a mission to rescue kittens from trees.
No.
Okay. So the WAD creates these weaponized siege cats, and then what happens?
Well, and this is where it really gets fascinating. It seems that these siege cats, they are far more intelligent than their creators ever anticipated.
Oh.
They've outsmarted the WAD,
Oh.
and they've gone rogue.
No.
And they've stolen a piece of highly advanced technology called the Chronocore.
The Chronocore. Okay, now the name itself, I mean, it suggests something to do with time. Are we talking time travel here?
You guessed it. The Chronocore is a device that can actually manipulate both time and space.
Okay. Hold on.
The ROD actually thought it was theoretically impossible, but the siege cats, they somehow figured out how to make it work.
This is where my brain starts to melt a little bit. How does something like that even work? I mean, is this like Doc Brown's flux capacitor, or are we talking about something completely different?
It's definitely a bit more complex than a flux capacitor.
Okay.
The report, it gets into some pretty mind-bending science, explaining that the Chronocore harnesses energy from the ninth dimension.
Ninth dimension.
It utilizes this thing called quantum foam, which you can think of as like the very fabric of space-time at an incredibly small scale.
Okay, ninth dimension, quantum foam. I'm going to need a little help wrapping my head around this.
So think of space-time like a constantly bubbling sea.
Okay.
And imagine the Chronocore using these ninth-dimensional particles called nucleons to create like tiny wormholes within that sea, connecting distant points in space and time.
So like poking holes through the fabric of reality itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So the siege cats, they're using this Chronocore to essentially like teleport through time.
Exactly. But there's even more to it to prevent these wormholes from collapsing.
Right.
The siege cats, they use this complex computational sequence. It's called the quantum lattice algorithm, or QLA.
QLA.
Yeah, it's like they're writing code to stabilize these tiers in space-time.
They're hacking the universe itself.
Kind of, yeah.
But where do these nucleons even come from?
That is one of the biggest mysteries in the report. They're described as originating from outside our observable universe.
Wow.
Possessing properties that honestly defy our current understanding of physics. They can remain stable across space-time boundaries.
Okay.
And they even create distortions that kind of echo across dimensions.
Okay, so we've got these exotic particles from beyond our reality that can essentially warp time and space. And the siege cats are using them to power this Chronocore. Well, I'm starting to see why the WAD might be just a little concerned about all of this.
Indeed. The report, it identifies the Chronocore as a high-priority threat.
Yeah.
Primarily because of the potential for what they call temporal paradoxes.
Right.
And dimensional contamination.
Okay, dimensional contamination. Does that mean something bad could, like, leak into our reality from another dimension?
It is a possibility. Introducing high-dimensional matter into our world could have some pretty unpredictable and potentially catastrophic consequences.
So the Chronocore is like a Pandora's box, and the siege cats have flung it wide open.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do we have any clues as to what they're actually doing with this incredible power? I mean, what are they up to?
The report does highlight a couple of intriguing incidents.
Okay.
The first one, it's labeled Operation Catatonic.
Operation Catatonic. Okay.
And it details how the siege cats actually use the chronocore to become completely invisible and untraceable.
Oh, wow.
They shifted into the fifth dimension.
Wait, so they can jump between dimensions.
They can.
It's like a cosmic game of hide and seek.
Yeah.
What about the other incident?
This one involves some reports from field agents who were stationed in 17th century Europe.
Okay.
And they described sightings of creatures that sound very, very similar to our siege cats.
So they were meddling with past events.
Possibly.
I mean, potentially altering the course of history.
Potentially, yeah.
Time travel, dimensional shifting, possibly rewriting history. Sounds like the yacht has a real challenge on their paws.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they doing to try and contain this whole situation?
The report outlines some countermeasures that they're working on. They're trying to develop these things called temporal suppression fields, which would essentially block access to critical points in history. And they're also working on a quantum disruptor array. And this is designed to cut off the siege cat's ability to return to their original time.
So they're trying to, like, build fences in time and space.
Yeah, basically trying to trap them.
It's a sci-fi arms race.
It is.
But here's the big question that keeps swirling in my mind. Why are the siege cats doing all of this? I mean, are they just joyriding through time? Or is there something more to their agenda?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The report, it paints them as a threat.
Right.
But what if their actions are driven by something else entirely? What if they're actually trying to protect humanity?
From what?
From a danger that we're not even aware of, possibly even a threat that's posed by the WAD itself.
That's a fascinating thought. So these rogue siege cats could be our unlikely saviors, fighting a secret war to protect, like, the very fabric of reality. We've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we have.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface of this incredibly complex situation.
It is a lot to process, but that's what makes this deep dive so compelling, you know? We're piecing together this puzzle with extraordinarily high stakes, and the implications are, well, they're mind-boggling. I mean, if the siege cats are indeed acting to protect humanity, what kind of future threat could they be aware of that the WAD isn't?
Right.
What possible catastrophe are they working to prevent?
Yeah.
These are questions that demand further exploration.
Let's take a moment to absorb everything we've discussed so far. Listener, grab a drink, maybe do some stretches, because in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to dissect the inner workings of this mind-blowing chronocore. Okay, listener, let's dive back into the heart of this mystery, the chronocore. We talked about its capabilities, but now I'm really kind of itching to understand, like, how does this thing actually work? Like, what makes it tick?
Well, you know, the report actually does a surprisingly good job of outlining the chronocore's architecture. It's both impressive and a little unsettling how much detail they've managed to uncover. It's like they've provided like a blueprint to a machine that just bends the laws of physics.
So walk me through it. Like, what are the key components? What are the parts that make this time-bending device tick?
Okay, so the report breaks the chronocore down into three like primary systems. Each one has a very, very crucial role to play. First up, we have the temporal stabilization array.
The temporal stabilization array.
Yes. This system, it uses those exotic nucleons that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Remember, they're able to remain stable across space-time boundaries. So the chronocore, it uses those nucleons to prevent the wormholes that it creates from collapsing. It's essentially like building scaffolding to keep those temporal tunnels open.
Okay, so it's like reinforcing those tiers in the fabric of reality.
Right, preventing them from sealing back up.
Okay, got it. What about the second system?
That would be the dimensional phase shifter. This is where things get really, really interesting.
Okay.
This system, this is responsible for adjusting the vibrational frequencies of both the chronocore itself and, get this, the siege cats.
Hold on, wait. They can actually change their vibrational frequency. I'm trying to, like, picture what that would even look like. Like they're tuning themselves to resonate with a different reality.
Precisely.
Okay, wow. All right. And then the final piece, the third system.
The final piece of this puzzle is the quantum tethering mechanism. You can think of this system as like a cosmic safety line.
Okay.
It anchors the siege cats to to their original point in spacetime.
Okay.
So no matter how far they travel through time or across dimensions, this mechanism makes sure they can always find their way back home.
It's like a cosmic GPS guiding them back through like the labyrinth of time and dimensions. Okay, this is all starting to make sense, but it raises another question in my mind. If the WAD created the Chronocore, why didn't they like build in some sort of kill switch? Like some way to shut it down remotely if things went wrong?
Yeah, that's a great question. And unfortunately the report doesn't really offer a definitive answer on that. It's possible that the technology was I don't know, maybe just too advanced. Maybe they hadn't figured out how to implement those kinds of safeguards yet. Or, and this is a slightly more disturbing thought. Maybe they never intended to relinquish control of such a powerful device in the first place.
Okay, that's a chilling thought. A shadowy organization wielding the power to control time itself.
Yeah.
So let's just recap for a moment, listener. We've got this insanely powerful device capable of manipulating time and dimensions. It's created by an organization with potentially questionable motives.
Right.
And it's fallen into the paws of these highly intelligent bioengineered beings who are now using it for, well, we're not really sure what. It's a lot to process, right?
It is. It's we're dealing with a situation that completely like upends our understanding of reality. But remember, we're not just dealing with like abstract concepts here. This is about the siege cats.
Right.
These enigmatic creatures who have taken control of this chronocore.
Yeah.
We've explored the how of the chronocore.
Okay.
But the real mystery is the why of the siege cats.
Right.
What are their motivations? What are they trying to achieve with this thing?
That's the question that just keeps nagging at me.
Yeah.
I mean, the report labels them a threat.
Right.
But we've also speculated that they might be acting to protect humanity.
We have.
Maybe those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Maybe they're trying to protect us from something that requires them to act in ways that appear dangerous or even hostile.
Exactly. And to understand their motives, I think we really need to look at the evidence. We need to delve deeper into those case studies we mentioned earlier,
Right.
Operation Catatonic,
Right.
and the siege cat's presence in 17th century Europe.
Okay.
Those incidents, I think, those hold the key to unlocking the puzzle of their intentions.
So let's shift our focus from the technology, the nuts and bolts of the Chronocore, to the actions of the siege cats. Listener, get ready for the next level of this deep dive, because we're about to examine those case studies with magnifying glass and see what secrets they might reveal. Okay, listener, let's revisit those case studies and see if we can shed some light on the siege cat's motives. First up, Operation Catatonic. This incident really highlights the tactical brilliance of these creatures.
It does, doesn't it? What's really striking about Operation Catatonic is how the siege cats, they use the chronocore not as a weapon, but as a shield.
Right.
They shifted into the fifth dimension, becoming like intangible, undetectable to the WAD. This wasn't aggression. This was a strategic maneuver to evade capture.
So they were running.
Yeah.
But not just running through space. They were running through dimensions.
Right.
It suggests a level of like self-awareness, of understanding the very fabric of reality that's pretty mind-blowing.
It really does. And it challenges that initial assessment of the siege cats as simple bioweapons. I mean, they're clearly capable of strategic thinking, problem solving on a level that surpasses anything that we've ever seen before.
Right.
It really does beg the question, what else are they capable of?
That's a question that sends chills down my spine, to be honest. All right, let's move on to the second case study. Those historical sightings in 17th century Europe. I can't help but picture these feline entities like slinking through the shadows of history, observing, perhaps even influencing events.
It's a fascinating image, isn't it? And it raises some really intriguing questions. Why would the siege cats travel to that specific time period? What drew them to 17th century Europe? Were they merely passive observers, or were they actively, intervening in historical events?
The report suggests they might have been gathering intelligence or maybe even developing new technologies. But what if there's a more profound reason? What if they were trying to avert a catastrophic event that occurred in the past, something with far-reaching consequences for the future?
That's a compelling theory, and it aligns with the idea that the siege cats, they might be acting as guardians, safeguarding humanity from threats that we're not even aware of. Perhaps they possess knowledge of a timeline that we haven't lived, a future that we've avoided thanks to their interventions.
It's like they're playing a cosmic game of chess,
Yeah.
making moves across time and dimensions to ensure a favorable outcome for humanity.
Right.
But if that's the case, why the secrecy? Why not, like, reveal themselves, enlist our help?
That's the heart of the mystery, isn't it? Perhaps they fear the consequences of revealing themselves, the potential chaos and distrust that could arise if humanity knew about their existence and the true nature of the Chronocore.
Or maybe, as we speculated earlier, they're bound by some kind of, like, temporal directive, like a cosmic rule that prevents them from directly interfering in certain events, or revealing their presence, like a cosmic version of Star Trek's Prime Directive.
Exactly. It really suggests a deeper layer to this whole mystery, a level of complexity that we're only beginning to grasp.
So we've got these enigmatic siege cats potentially manipulating time to protect humanity, but constrained by some unknown forces or rules. It's a story that's both thrilling and unsettling. We've uncovered more questions than answers,
We have.
but I think we gained a deeper understanding of the complexities involved.
I agree. This deep dive, I mean, it's really opened our eyes to a reality that we never could have imagined. The siege cats and the Chronocore, they challenge our very understanding of time and space and maybe even our own place in the universe.
So, listener, where does this leave us? Are the siege cats heroes or villains? Are they safeguarding our future, or are they playing a dangerous game with forces beyond our comprehension? The truth, as with most things, is likely far more nuanced than a simple binary.
Perhaps the most important takeaway from this whole deep dive is the realization that we're not alone in the vastness of existence.
Right.
There are forces at play, events unfolding across time and dimensions that we're only beginning to understand.
It's a humbling thought and a thrilling one.